Today we are going to talk about using Google Image Search to find free photographs that are licensed for commercial use. Hey everyone, it's Dave from biztoolschool.com, and today I want to show you a cool little trick with Google that will help you find photos that you can use in your blog or in your video or whatever you need to use them for. So normally you might go to a stock image marketplace and you might pay money to license the image, but with this little trick you'll be able to find public domain images or images that are freely licensable with maybe some limited requirements quickly and easily. So let me show you an example of how to go ahead and do that. So we just go to Google and I'm going to type in, let's see, Golden Gate Bridge. It'd be nice if I could spell. And look, we've got the web results, the standard results. What we want is the image results, so Google Image Search. And here we have a whole host of image results, but we're not going to use any of the images that we find here because right now Google is not filtering these images based on usage rights. What we are going to do is on this button here, Search Tools, we're going to click that. And then you'll find a whole bunch of different options. Size, you can filter by size, color type. But what we're interested in is usage rights. Very useful. Click on that little drop down and you'll see a bunch of different options labeled for reuse with modification, labeled for reuse, labeled for non-commercial reuse, and labeled for non-commercial reuse. Now, if you're like me, most of you are running a business, we're interested in commercial reuse. In some cases, commercial reuse with modifications. So the most permissive option that you're going to want is this one here, labeled for reuse with modification. So we'll go ahead and click on that. And now Google's search results for Golden Gate Bridge is giving us content that has been explicitly labeled for reuse with modification. So that means commercial use, and then you can change the image however you want. Now, you still don't want to grab the image itself, so you don't want to just go and get the image file directly and copy it and then post it to your website. You still want to do your due diligence and make sure that you are determining what the actual licensing terms are. So let's find an example. I want to actually find an image from Flickr would be good. Here's a Flickr image. And we'll go ahead and visit the page. And here on the Flickr page, for instance, you'll see, obviously there's the image, it's kind of slideshow to some other images by the same creator or photographer. But the really important bit that you want is over here in the bottom right where it says taken on October 26, just below that, some rights reserved. So this, if you're clicking on this link, is going to take you to a page that explains the usage rights for this image. So let's go ahead and click on that. And here you see it's a Creative Commons licensing agreement. You are free to share, copy, and redistribute the material, adapt, you can remix, transform, and build upon it for any purpose, even commercially. That's what we want. And the licensor cannot revoke these freedoms. Then below that, following terms, attribution. You must give appropriate credit, provide a link to the license, and indicate if changes were made. And I will provide a separate video that will help you understand kind of what's the optimal way to attribute an image in when you publish it on your website or in a book. But needless to say, you can use this image freely so long as you provide attribution. So what you want to do is say, this image was taken by such and such user, and offer a link back to their website or their Flickr page, a link to this license agreement, and indicate if you made any modifications or changes to that image. So let's go back to the Google results, and I'll just show you one other example here real quick. And here we go. Here's This is from Wikipedia, and usually things from Wikipedia or Wikimedia Commons, you're going to be able to use also with either freely if it's public domain. You don't need to provide any attribution. If it is like a Creative Commons license, make sure you check the link and read the fine print. Usually it's going to be attribution only, but let's take a look here. This is also a Creative Commons license, so it'll be very similar to the last one that we saw, that you can reuse it, remix it, but please provide attribution. So as many of us know who work with stock photography or other stock digital media assets, if you are going to use or publish any of this sort of content, I strongly advise you to make sure that you have the appropriate license agreement in place. So that's it for today. That's a really helpful tip in case you need images or other sorts of digital media for your website.